The UVA football team is 1-0 overall, 1-0 on the road, 1-0 in the ACC as well, and 1-0 with Lamont Hawkins on the sideline working the radio broadcast after Saturday night's victory at Heinz Field over Pitt. We are joined in studio, as we are every week, by the BallHawk, Lamont Hawkins, a special Thursday visit from the BallHawk as we get ready for Friday night, the Who's in William & Mary. And let's start with Saturday's season opening win at Pitt. What was your biggest takeaway from the way the Who's looked in that win?
My biggest takeaway was no turnovers, and we got better as the game progressed. We understood that offensively everybody was going to pay attention to the offensive line and the running backs, and I felt like once we got the offensive line group down packed starting in the second half, we showed that we can protect Bryce in the pocket. Defensively, if you throw out the second quarter, we dominated Pitt, held them to 13 yards in the first quarter, gave up 160 yards in the second quarter. But Coach Bronco Mendenhall made adjustments, and they demonstrated just how high the football IQ is for these guys that's playing on the field.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. How encouraging is it to see those adjustments at halftime being executed in the second half?
You know, and that's the next step when you're trying to, compete for a championship. Just demonstrating that once you see somebody's first punch that you can adjust and start to counter everything that they do and take away what they love to do and put them in an uncomfortable zone. So I was very encouraged because Pitt demonstrated up-tempo and a lot of different sets as far as the receiver sets, and we showed in the second half with our blitz packages and our ability to cover on the island took that away from them. Yeah,
as a former defensive back, how much fun was it watching those defensive backs coming on the blitz, bringing that pressure?
Man, I'm jealous because I never got a sack as a defensive back. So Bryce Hall got a sack, and then Joey Blunt had two. Nelson could have had one himself, but Noah kind of took him off his path. And Joey Blunt had a phenomenal game, man. Here's a guy that learned under the great Quinn Blandon, and it shows that when he's healthy and he's out there, he makes a huge difference for us in that secondary and what we can do defensively.
So that brings us to Friday night, the home opener against William & Mary. Obviously, there are a lot of storylines in this one. Let's start with, Kelly Papinga was talking today about just how unique this offensive scheme is for William & Mary. How much of a challenge is that going to be for this UVA defense?
It's challenging because they give you so many different looks as far as the sets and what they can do out of them. Their quarterback is very mobile. He's so young that he's a one read and go, and that's what makes him so dangerous, is that his clock is a little different than what we're used to. We're used to quarterbacks going from one side of the field to the next, but this young man, if his first readings are there, he takes off and he can fly, he can flat out run. So it's going to be imperative for us to tape our rush lanes and just try to corral him and make him throw the football.
And then obviously Mike London will be back at Scott Stadium on Friday night for the first time since 2015.
Yeah.
What do you think Mike London's legacy as the UVA coach is?
I think it's not a promising legacy from the fan standpoint as far as wins and losses. From a recruiting standpoint, he did a good job of getting some 4- and 5-star guys here, some guys that we remember that we'll always remember. But Mike overall is a great human being, but as a coach, he didn't live up to the billing in which he sets for himself, coming off from Richmond and winning the national championship. But Mike's a great guy, man, and he's a friend of mine, but business-wise, he just didn't get the job done here at UVA.